Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss one of the most important topics for back-end developers: how Java Spring Boot interviews change between 3 years and 5 years of experience. Many developers prepare the same way for every interview, but companies actually expect very different things depending on your experience level. In this video, we'll compare the type of questions asked, skills expected, production scenarios discussed, architecture expectations, common mistakes candidates make. Let's begin. Here's the agenda for today. We'll first understand what companies expect at both experience levels. Then we'll compare Java concepts, Spring Boot depth, Kafka and microservices discussions, production troubleshooting, architecture and system design. Finally, we'll discuss how to prepare effectively for each level. At 3 years of experience, interviewers mainly want to know whether you can independently develop back-end applications. They expect good Java fundamentals, REST API development skills, SQL and database understanding, Spring Boot basics, debugging ability. The focus is mainly on implementation rather than architecture. These are some of the most commonly asked Java questions for 3-year candidates. Interviewers check collection knowledge, Java memory concepts, Stream API understanding, exception handling, object-oriented programming fundamentals. Java 8 Stream API questions are extremely common nowadays. For coding rounds, companies usually ask medium-level problems. They are not expecting advanced competitive programming. They mainly evaluate problem-solving approach, code readability, Java usage, Stream API handling. Writing clean and optimized code is very important. For Spring Boot interviews at 3 years, most questions revolve around building APIs. Interviewers ask about dependency injection, bean management, validation, exception handling, API design. Basic authentication concepts like JWT are also commonly discussed. Database knowledge is extremely important for back-end interviews. Interviewers check whether candidates understand SQL joins, indexing, performance basics, JPA mappings, transaction management. The N+1 query problem is one of the most commonly asked Hibernate questions. At 3 years, Kafka and microservices questions are usually introductory. Interviewers mostly ask conceptual questions. What is Kafka? Why use microservices? What are the benefits compared to monoliths? Deep architectural discussions are less common at this level. Production support questions are becoming extremely common. Companies want developers who can troubleshoot real issues. Even if you don't know the exact solution, interviewers expect logical debugging steps, monitoring understanding, root cause analysis mindset. At 5 years, interviews become very different. Companies assume you already know Java basics, Spring Boot basics, CRUD APIs. Now they test scalability, distributed systems, production architecture, leadership capability. The focus shifts from coding to system thinking. At 5 years, Java questions become deeper. Interviewers expect understanding of JVM behavior, garbage collection, concurrency, performance optimization. They often ask scenario-based questions instead of direct definitions. Spring Boot discussions at 5 years focus more on production systems. Interviewers ask how to secure applications, how to improve performance, how to handle failures, how to make services resilient. Production readiness becomes very important. Microservices become a major focus area at 5 years. Interviewers want to know why certain architecture decisions are made, how distributed systems behave, how failures are handled. They evaluate architectural thinking very carefully. At 5 years, Kafka discussions become production-oriented. Instead of asking, "What is Kafka?" interviewers ask, "What happens if broker goes down? How do you handle duplicate messages? How do you scale Kafka consumers?" Real troubleshooting experience matters a lot. System design rounds are extremely common for 5-year candidates. Interviewers evaluate scalability thinking, database choices, communication patterns, reliability mechanisms. They are more interested in your thought process than perfect answers. Modern backend interviews often include cloud and DevOps discussions. Even if you are not a DevOps engineer, companies expect basic understanding of containers, deployment pipelines, monitoring, logging, especially in product-based companies. This slide summarizes the biggest difference. At 3 years, focus is implementation. At 5 years, focus is ownership and architecture. The interview becomes experience-driven rather than theory-driven. The preparation strategy should also change based on experience level. For 3 years, strengthen fundamentals. For 5 years, focus heavily on real production experience. System design, distributed systems, troubleshooting. To conclude, at 3 years, companies check whether you can independently develop back-end applications. At 5 years, companies check whether you can design, scale, troubleshoot, and own production systems. That is the biggest difference. Thanks for watching. Hope the video was helpful. See you again in the next video.